Screensavers. I'm Kate Patello.
And I'm Leo Laporte, and I thank you so much for joining us. Coming up in today's show, the last part of our three-part series highlighting our upgraded ultimate gaming machine. Today, the games and peripherals.
All right. Also, Leo's going to chat with Tim Martin about how it just may be possible to put some organization into the very disorganized World Wide Web.
He's with Josh. Plus, we show you why it's more than just a movie when it's on DVD. Our Geek Library takes us to The Matrix on this very show.
Hence, my shiny black shirt.
Red pill or blue pill?
Which one is which?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I just know like shiny black stuff. Don't eat the red one.
I don't have any shiny black stuff. Today in the chat room, what processor would you put in your UGM? There's a little controversy over Pentium versus Athlon versus G4. We didn't even mention the G4.
No, we didn't mention the G4. And AMD Zone came out with an article calling us the worst computer show ever.
Cool.
That we are moral.
At least we're like,
we're like ever.
A superlative of some kind.
That's right, because we did not use an Athlon in the machine. Now, we mentioned it was a coin toss, did we not? A coin toss? A coin toss?
It all comes down to the coin toss.
Yes.
No, really, the Athlon 800 and the Pentium 3 800, it's hard to choose between. We chose because of the SSE instructions. Yes. And I will absolutely stand on my record and say I stand behind what we said, which is that SSE is much more effective than 3D now, the 3D sections that are on the Athlon. There are some other things to like about the Athlon, but overall, I think the Pentium 3 is the right choice. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to see any difference at all. And now, somebody else made a good point, which is that you can buy the 800 Athlon right now. You cannot buy the Intel 800 right now.
Right.
Although you could, I believe you can, and we're going to have to check on this. OEMs are buying it and building systems, and I believe you can get it from Intel if you could be an OEM.
Well, we weren't talking about buying it right now. We were just talking about what goes in the ultimate machine.
It's the best what we could get.
Now, in my machine, I still think the Athlon looks beautiful. The floating point unit is tremendously great. 3D now looks good. For the level of gaming that I do, I'm going to put an Athlon in my machine.
Interestingly enough, if you're talking about SSE, the G4 with its Altivec, the velocity engine that they've put in that G4, is probably the best of them all in terms of that kind of SSE acceleration. So I think the G4 is an awfully good chip. My only problem with the G4 is, first of all, you can't really build your own Mac.
And what games are you going to put on it?
And the gaming is somewhat more limited, although there's some good stuff out there on the Mac. In fact, Blizzard was showing Diablo 2 at Macworld Expo on the Mac, not on the PC.
Oh.
So, Pentium, Athlon, or G4, what processor would you put in your ultimate gaming machine?
Well, you can see what we think. We want to know what you think. Of course, take our poll at thescreensavers.com. While you're there, click on Talkback and tell us what specs you'd put in your own ultimate gaming machine.
Yeah, actually, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of room for a choice. We're just saying what we wanted, and frankly, it was a difficult choice to make, and a lot of times I think there were other things we could have done. So let us know what you would change, what you would do differently. You could do that on the phone, 288-989-7879, or chat with us. Chat.zdnet.com. Screensavers rooms where everybody is.
Absolutely, unless, of course, they want to be on television and they have a netcam, at which point they can join us in the netcam Cineplex. Because, look, you got Shannon in there, Brad's in there. Look at these attractive people, hard at work.
Waiting for your call.
Waiting for your call.
And I'll be honest with you, we need your call. The calls we got so far, I'm not crazy about. So give us a ring right now. We've got some good calls on the show.
Right now. Okay. It's one of those, why is my computer crashing right now? I don't know. I'd have to be at your house. I'm so sorry. Earn yourself a fabulous magnetic picture frame as seen on our fridge. To be seen.
Who's in the frame?
On yours.
Oh, it's Jack.
That's the snowman we built in Tahoe last year.
Oh, isn't that precious?
All right. Let's talk to Amber from Alabama.
Amber from...
Are you mocking me?
No. That's a precious snowman. Amber's on the line from Robertsdale, Alabama, one of the good calls we got. Hi, Amber.
Hey, Amber.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
It's Amber, our tech chick.
What grade are you in, Amber?
7th.
And you're doing a school report?
I'm doing a science project.
Science project.
All right. Involving?
Mold and bread.
No.
No?
We'll leave the mayonnaise. Yeah, that's a good one. Volcanoes are always good.
Cleaning pennies?
I made a giant Stonehenge.
Ooh, I did inertia once with a big cup and an orange on top of a box and a broom, and you take it, slam it against the table, and it pushes it out, and I dented my mom's dining room table. Made her really, really happy.
Inertia will dent the dining room table. Our conclusion. So what's your science project about, Amber?
I want to do how the internet works and what is the best ISP provider.
What's the best?
best?
Do you mean like nationally the best?
Yeah.
Because it's going to vary on every region that you're in. You know, some of you may have an absolutely stellar local ISP.
How would you attempt to test that?
Yeah, what would you quantify?
Do you have a protocol for that, Amber?
I'm not sure.
Like, what means good to you? What do you think qualifies something as being a good ISP? Okay, so those are some things we have to think about. Let's think about, depending on what you want to do. Server space, do you want to upload? Do you want to have your own website? Find an ISP that works with you. That means, do you need CGI binary? Will they give it to you? Will they not? You can think about that, too. What else quantifies a good...
Put that in the report. That'll get you an A.
Extra credit for saying CGI binary.
Here's the first thing I would say. You have to think about what would make a good ISP for you. No busy signals, right?
Yeah.
So when you dial up, you can get through right away. And fast, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's break down fast a little bit. Fast means your web pages pop up. So that means a couple of things. First of all, that the Internet service provider has a good connection themselves to the Internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not diluting it with too many users. That'll get back, by the way, to your modem busy signal issue also. So they have enough resources for their users. They have a connection that is quick to the Internet, and certainly enough for everybody who wants to use it. And they have, I would say the third thing would be good technical support. So if you have a problem, you can call them up.
So maybe instead of coming up with a list of the best ISPs, you might actually want to just quantify the things that make a good ISP.
And maybe do a survey, ask people in your school, a questionnaire. How many busy signals a week do you think you get? What's the fastest download you've ever done on your Internet service provider? Things like that.
You know, a graph is always worth an extra 5 points, Amber.
Good, do a graph. And then throw in that CGI binary at the end, and they're going to love it.
And a plastic folder. Plastic folder is always worth an extra couple of points, Amber.
I did not get an A on the Stonehenge.
I didn't even turn in the inertia project.
So you're really asking the wrong people.
Okay.
Good luck with your project, okay?
Okay.
Good luck, Amber.
One more question?
Yeah.
Can I have an autograph picture?
Sure.
Of course you can.
And I'm going to give you one more tip. There's a great book on how the Internet works and who invented it. It's called Where Wizards Stay Up Late. And it's by Katie Hafner, Hafner, Where Wizards Stay Up Late. I think that's the name of it. A wonderful book. You go to the library and find that, and that will get half your report done for you, okay?
Okay.
The best book on the history of the Internet.
Amber, send us a copy when you're done, all right?
Okay.
Okay, good luck, honey.
That's cute.
Bye, Tech Chick.
Now that's precious.
It is. She is. After the break, we're going to go beyond the Matrix with the Matrix DVD, and the screensavers continues.
Ooh.
Now I'm going to run into the wall. Should we try it?
Wall. Yeah, run into the wall. Time once again for Kate and Leo's Geek Library, wherein we recommend for your geek pleasure one of our all-time favorite books, movies, software titles, bookmarks. This week's we're going to do a movie. But it's not just, I'm not saying go out and rent the VHS copy of this. Oh, no.
Which you could do.
You could do that.
One of the coolest movies ever made.
We're talking DVD.
Fridge is a little squeaky.
I can't fool him. We're talking, maybe it's really squeaky. I don't know. We're talking the DVD version of The Matrix because there's so much more on the DVD. I'll tell you what, this is really, now you saw The Matrix in the theaters.
Of course I did
too.
Which I'm hoping that most of you did as well. And we don't want to give away
movie.
Anything.
No.
Great movie. Let's just say it's one of the greatest fears of all computer geeks of all time. Brought to life on film, plus it's really slick.
Now, what happens when you use a DVD now on PCs is you get an actual user interface. It's actually a program running. So you see, I can go scene selections, of course, and I can pick soundtracks, I can pick subtitles, I can pick commentary, and so forth. But there's some other things that I can do that are really cool. Let me see if I can do anything. Hello.
There we go.
This is one other thing that we found, by the way, that this is probably the most demanding DVD you'll use. So if you just got a DVD player and you want to see how the DVD player is working, try it with the Matrix. Taking a look at some of the special features in here. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, of course. And if you go to the Dream World, you'll see. Ooh, I love these.
No.
I love these things. Not only is there commentary by the visual effects supervisor and a making of the Matrix movie, but there's also this Follow the White Rabbit.
Oh.
When you do this and you're watching the movie and you go to various scenes, if you see a white rabbit, in fact, let me go to a chapter here. First, let me maximize.
It'll actually give you.
It'll actually give you, if I can get the right chapter, I think chapter 10 has a white rabbit. There it is.
There it is.
You can click on the white rabbit and get more information about how the special effects in that scene were made.
Wow.
So there's the green screen, and they're going to show how this, we won't talk about what this is because that would spoil the movie
It's
for
a big thing.
And he's coming out of it.
Secret. Okay, stop. Don't look. Don't look.
We don't want to show anybody this part. How do I get back?
I'm going to go hit Control X. Control X.
Well, that won't do anything.
Oh, for heaven's
anyway,
sake. Minimize it.
I'll just close it.
Just don't look.
We don't want to spoil the movie for you. If you've never seen The Matrix, just rent the movie for crying out loud. But if you've seen it and you want to play with it, this is the way to do it. DVD only for this one.
And some features you can only access by taking the red pill.
I truthfully think this is the killer app for DVD. I think people are going to actually go out and get DVD players just to see The Matrix. To see all of our listings from the past Geek Library, just check out our website, thescreensavers.com, and, of course, all the details about The Matrix are there.
All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go run up the wall now, because that was so cool. Here we go.
She can do this. Twice she's failed.
Watch that movie a lot.
Kate's heading into chat.
I'm going to go get in the chat room now.
Medic!
See you later.
And coming up next, how do you overcome information overload? Tim Martin is here with a web information manager when the Screensavers continues. Manage that information. Manage it. Manage it. Screensavers.com is the best place for more information about what's on this show, whether it's choosing the best video card, we did a whole week on that, or making music with your PC. Just click on Show and Tell, and remember, it's all at thescreensavers.com. Well, I don't need to tell you what information overload is all about. We're all familiar with the term. We're all suffering it from every day of the week, especially if you're a computer user. Now, here to tell us how to start managing all that information, Chief Technology Officer of Giage.com, Tim Martin. And I always like to talk to CTOs because you're the guys who do the work, right?
Right, we do all the heavy lifting.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to talk to a marketing guy or your CEO here.
Marketing guy's over there.
I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to you because you did the work. Now, actually, your background's kind of interesting because you wrote a very well-known shareware program for the Amiga. I mean, going way, way back.
Right, called SID. It was a file management utility before there was even such a thing.
Right. So you've kind of been in this space of figuring out how to manage information all along.
I've been trying to solve information overload for about 14 years now.
Wow.
And still not successful, so.
We're getting there, though.
We're getting there, much closer.
So let me ask you how this progress happened. SID was to manage files, obviously.
Files, right.
And then what was the thinking? What was the problem you were trying to solve?
Well, I had a friend who ran a bulletin board system. That was pre-internet, of course, and he, thousands of files. He's helped me manage all these files.
Right. I have no idea what's in here.
So I wrote SID and put it out, and he said, hey, this is great. Why don't you stick it out as shareware? And suddenly checks started coming back.
That's cool.
It was an amazing concept. People would actually give me money for something and didn't ask for it.
Did you make enough money to say, hey, I'm going to keep doing this, or was it just kind of gravy?
Well, if the IRS is listening, no, I didn't make very much money at all.
No, okay.
No. Yeah. But no, I actually did quite well, and enough to pay my way through college pretty much.
That's really a neat story. So if anybody's thinking about doing shareware, you'd say go for it. Especially if
definitely now with the Windows. I mean, because Amiga was only, 500,000 people.
Right, now you've got 50 million people, potential customers.
That's right. So
you went to college, studied computer science?
Computer science, right.
Then what?
And then... started to do the job recruiting. Actually, got an interview at Microsoft, Xerox, writing copy, microcode for copy machines.
Yeah.
And but then Procter & Gamble got me.
Procter & Gamble.
It was actually a boondoggle. A friend of mine worked at P&G, and he said, I said, what do I want to work for a soap company for?
Yeah.
And he said, hey, come on up. I'll get you a free airplane ride. You can spend the weekend with me.
Well, you don't have to take the job.
Yeah, and you get free meals, and don't have to take the job. But I love the company, and I was getting a little burnt out building software. And
right.
So
but you're back doing it again. But now it's with your own company, but that changes things a little bit. So what does G-I-A-G-E mean?
It stands for Guys in a Garage.
Guys in a Garage.
Guys
I
in
love
a Garage. The old industry adage, two guys in a garage.
Are you two guys in a garage?
Well, we started in the garage. It was a little bit cold. Had, sitting in Cincinnati, our summers aren't our winters aren't very nice.
Right. So how long ago did you start this?
We actually started in '95. It's
been a while.
Yeah, we've been building technology for about 4 years.
Right.
And
what were you? Let's ask the same question again. What was the problem you were trying to solve, and how did you go about solving it?
Well, it was information overload. At P&G, I was essentially the gatekeeper for new PC software and hardware coming in the company. And when you start telling people what to put on their PC, they think the P in PC stands for personal.
It's my computer.
My computer.
Right.
And so people were not afraid to tell me what they thought of some of the selections we made. And that was, 200 email messages a day, voicemails, product recommendations.
You want to meet a guy who gets 600 a day?
Right.
So what do I do? Help me.
So what do? Well, you need something that breaks down the barriers between all of your information.
So, in other words, saying this is email only, or this is a web page only, or this is a document only is artificial, is what you're saying.
Well, right. If you think about your environment today, all of your information is stored in the application that serves it.
That's right.
So you have all of your bookmarks in your browser.
Right.
You've got your email in your email package.
Right.
You have your files on your file system.
Right.
And if I were to look over your shoulder, I might have difficulty understanding just what is it that you're working on.
Yeah. And actually, I'm starting to see websites that say, we're going to combine your email, your faxes, and your voicemail into one mailbox. This is taking it one step further, where you just all your information's in one area.
The whole idea is that when you are working with information, you don't really care if it's a document or an email or a website.
I just want the info.
I just want to deal with the information.
Right. So show me how this works. This is your solution. You said 5 years in the making. This is it. This is the solution.
Well, the interesting thing is this is actually only a part of our solution.
Oh, okay.
And but this is our first step. And so
people can download this, by the way. 30-day free trial.
30-day free trial. Yeah. Go to webspace.com or geosh.com.
Okay.
And
so Webspace is the product, Geosh is the company.
That's correct.
Okay.
And what we wanted to do is make it a very familiar environment.
Right.
Make it look very much like your browser. And as a matter of fact, this is the Internet Explorer browser right inside our product.
But actually, it looks like Explorer, but this is Explorer window. This actually is your toolbar, not the Explorer toolbar. Although some of the features are the same.
Some of the features are the same. You know, our lawyers told us it's probably a good idea to mix up the buttons a little bit and change some of the names. But and so what you have is you can browse the web, and then our unique capability here is this thing we call an organizer.
It's on the left-hand side.
On the left-hand side.
Okay.
And basically it's a place you can capture the information. And so the whole idea of the product is you can browse the web. When you see information that is important to you, you can capture it. And so if you have some text that's valuable to you, you just drag, drop, and it becomes a note inside of the organizer.
That's actually great.
And if you see a picture that's important to you, you can just drag and drop the picture.
Now, we do that all the time where we're going through web pages, but we'll bookmark them or we'll cut them and paste them into a Word processor.
Save them to a Word document.
It's kind of hard to do, and especially if you're doing a report or something where you're trying to collate information from a lot of sources. That's a hard thing to do. So that's great.
We actually did a study on our website, and we found that 85% of the people, when they're browsing the web, they tend to get distracted. No big surprise there, right?
And you go down a path and another path and another path because you forgot why you were going there.
That's exactly right. And what this gives you the ability to do is grab your information and then go back and file it later. You don't have to save as, you don't have to bookmark it. And one of the other things we wanted to do is we wanted to get rid of all the old constraints of the file system. Mm-hmm. You can name information any way that you want, and one of the things that we have is this concept called direct linking, which allows you to link any piece of information to any other piece of information instead of putting them together in folders. So you see we have the note and the web link. And
now, you haven't yet put email in this and some of those other features.
That's the version that's coming out in February.
That's down the road. If people want to try this, they should go to webspace.com and download it. I mean, we just got a little sample of it, but I think just looking at that immediately, I can see the benefit of that. And organize it, collate it, put together a report.
And then you just click a button and you can actually publish your results as a web page and share it with other people.
I love that. It's a great thing. Tim, I'm glad you keep writing software.
Glad
we got you away from that soap company.
Yeah, that's right.
So the product, once again, is called WebSpace. It's from Giage. Tim Martin is Chief Technology Officer of the company. If you want more information about how to manage information, go to our website, thescreensavers.com. Tim's written a great article for us with the stuff he's come up with over many years of thinking about
information overload.
Yeah,
you can conquer it.
Yeah, I hope
he is
so.
there.
I'm praying. And you're going to go over in the chat room a little bit, are you? Will you do that for us?
Definitely.
Okay. So he's going to go in the chat room, chat.zdnet.com. You get a chance to talk to him, ask him your questions for yourself.
All the Amiga fans, call me.
Yeah, Sid. If you ever use Sid, I'm sure Tim would love to hear from you. Now, folks, we're not done. You don't start flipping here. It's still to come on this very show. We're going to wrap up our look at the ultimate gaming machine and give you the grand dollar total. Also, can you hide your IP address while you're surfing on the web? Stick around to find out. Plus, display information from your computer directly on your retina. That sounds painful. All that and more as the Screensavers rolls on.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Kate Patello.
And I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you for joining us. A question in the chat room today: which processor would you put in your ultimate gaming machine? And we chose the Pentium 3B. Actually, I would have liked a BE, but we got a B. And, of course, the choices would include an Athlon 800, which we think is excellent.
Or
excellent
a G4.
Choice. Or a G4, which is also an excellent choice.
Now, we flipped a coin and we opted between the two processors, the Pentium and the Athlon. We chose the Pentium 3 because we were building the ultimate gaming machine and we wanted those SSE instructions. The Athlon is still great, has 3D now, has a killer floating point unit, but we still wanted the Pentium and we stand by it.
You know, if somebody gives me a dual Athlon motherboard tomorrow, I'd put an Athlon in it.
Hey, I'm putting an Athlon in my machine.
And I truthfully don't think you'd notice any difference one way or the other. So we chose a Pentium based mostly on, as you said, SSE, and also the ability to use RAM bus. That should make a difference. But maybe we were wrong. What do you think?
What do you think? Tell us how wrong were we. Screensavers.com. Of course, while you're there, tell us if you think we're wrong, how very, very wrong we really are. Because we really want to know.
Sounds like a Spice Girls song somehow.
Oh, tell me how I'm wrong, how I'm really, really wrong. Okay.
Chat with us, chat.zdnet.com. Now, Brian's on the ZDTV3Com NetCam network. Our next call from the Bronx. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
We're great.
How are you?
I'm good.
All right.
What's up?
Yeah, I wanted to know what if I could run Windows 2000 on my virtual PC for my PowerPC Mac.
Which version of Virtual PC do you have now?
2.0.
Wow. Now, for those of you who don't know, Virtual PC actually allows you to run a Windows emulator on your Mac, so you can run PC software on a Mac.
It's from Connectix. There's actually two emulators out there for the Mac. There's Soft Windows and Virtual PC. Soft Windows, really what they did is they licensed a lot of the Windows code, and they kind of rewrote Windows to run on the Mac. Virtual PC, Connectix went a completely different route. They are doing a hardware emulator, so they emulate a network card, they emulate a sound card, they emulate a video card.
IRQs, everything.
I've seen people put Red Hat Linux on it with some varying success, and in theory, you could put any operating system that ran on a PC would run on it. Now, having said that, I wouldn't recommend it, Brian, and I've got some good news for you. At Macworld, Connectix announced version 3 of Virtual PC for Windows 2000.
Oh.
So what I would do is, I don't know what the upgrade price is going to be. It's not going to be cheap because Windows 2000 itself is $300-something bucks.
Yeah.
So actually, I'll tell you this: the upgrade from Windows 98 is $219. So you're going to have to, and Connectix has been very reasonably pricing Virtual PC. They're basically taking the Windows license fee and adding like $50 to it. So I suspect probably $250 to $300 you'll be able to get version 3.0, and then it's guaranteed to work. So I guess our answer is you could try to get it to work. Probably wouldn't work very well in 2.0. But if you upgrade to 3.0, you're guaranteed.
Does Connectix offer any kind of deal for upgrading?
Yeah, there'll be an upgrade price, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right, so that should help you too.
Okay, Brian?
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Hey,
All right,
thank you.
Will you do us a favor now?
Yeah, sure.
Will you take us to break, please?
No problem.
And end with a Bronx cheer, man. Yeah. Go for it.
Thanks, Kate and Leo. Get ready for a complete look at the ultimate gaming machine when the Screensavers continue.
All right, nice job.
Thanks.
Wave at the cameraman. There you go. Super Geek Challenge to learn more about your favorite toy, the computer. This week, what are the New Year's resolutions for a grade A super geek? Take the quiz, find out. It's all available at thescreensavers.com.
And hearty congratulations to Mike from Anderson, Indiana, the winner of yesterday's Super Geek quiz. He got himself a T-shirt or a fedora, and we encourage you to do the same.
Make sure, of course, you fill out the form after you've taken the quiz for your chance to win.
So, here we are, day 3 on the Ultimate Gaming Machine. We started the Ultimate Gaming Machine May 11th, 1998. I know that date by heart because it was the first day of ZDTV. It was the first thing we ever did.
Ever.
I think we upgraded the processor, but I don't think we did much changing of it. Maybe it put in a new card once in a while. We put in a TNT2 Ultra, things like that. But it's about time we completely revised the machine since gaming technology has progressed just a little bit in the last year and a half. So today we're going to finish it up, the completely overhauled Ultimate Gaming Machine. We're going to show you the controllers and the game.
All right. Now, there were a couple of games we didn't get to put on this machine, like Diablo 2.
We really wanted to.
Hint, hint, hint. I want it now.
We really wanted to. Both of these were supposed to ship like in 1998.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they're still much delayed.
So
we're sticking with games you can buy in the stores today, and we have some games for each of the major genres.
Okay, so let's start with a favorite among Uber geeks everywhere, the Flight Sim.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a look. This is Fly from Terminal Reality.
Most people who are doing the Flight Sim thing today really think this is one of the best. It's only $40.
That's cheap.
Next best would be, or certainly the competition would be Microsoft's Flight Simulator, but this is a really nice sim.
So take a look at this. This is really pretty. Now, apparently, there are a bunch of other skylines that you can choose.
Oh, there are many scenarios. In fact, you're not seeing the whole control panel. You can move the control panel around. It's a very authentic control panel. This is a really nice Flight Sim. I'm not a Flight Sim fan, but I've told my pilots that this is the one you want.
All right. Now, of course, the peripheral to go with that, you might want to do, I personally wouldn't want to do force feedback with a Flight Sim, but force feedback joystick. This is the Logitech Wingman Force joystick. This is about $39. Not expensive.
We're in joystick heaven these days. There are great choices out there in a lot of areas. I think force feedback generally is kind of cheesy still.
It is.
But it's kind of also kind of fun. And if you were playing Pod Racer with or without force feedback, you like the force feedback a little bit.
It was kind of fun.
It makes it a little bit more realistic.
A little kick.
We did keep, by the way, the CH Flight Stick Pro and the rudder pedals, and I think if we're going to do the Flight Sims, the real Flight Sim guys are going to want to use that.
Probably.
Okay. But this is also good.
Let's do the next game, Leo.
Yes. Unreal Tournament, my favorite game.
Oh, it is his favorite game.
Love this. This is from GT Interactive. It costs as little as $35. This game looks so good. We're playing it here on the DDR, the GeForce 256 DDR 9 Pro, and it really is great. We got frame rates going up to 1600 by 1200. We got really fast frame rates, really good-looking 32-bit color. This game, I would say, is probably one of the most demanding games out there. Not only is it great to play, watch as I frag this fella.
You didn't frag that fella.
I did, too.
Roger did.
He did. No, I did that.
Okay.
Watch this. This is really cool. This shoots metal discs that will ricochet off. You got to be very careful. Oh, he got me with his rocket.
You know, one of the best things about this game is
ganged up on me.
The more that you soup up your rig to go with it, it will pay off with this game.
Oh, man, yes, absolutely.
All right.
Now, we probably play that with the keyboard and mouse. We'll show that in a second. But this is a good gamepad, and there are a lot of games you really want to have a gamepad. Microsoft Sidewinder Gamepad Pro, not force feedback, only $35. Force feedback in a gamepad's a nutty thing because it makes it too heavy.
Yeah, and it's, of course, the beautiful, new, futuristic silver version.
Now, the truth is we'd be showing the Gravis Exterminator, which we really like still, the one we put on the original Ultimate Gaming Machine.
But
I still have it at home.
So he likes it so much that he won't give it back.
That's my favorite gamepad. This is a very good one.
It is.
Now, for a driving game.
Now, this one is...
Roger chose this one.
NASCAR Legends. This is by Papyrus Design Group. And actually, this makes some sense to me because NASCAR is huge in this country. World Wrestling and NASCAR, the two most popular sports, practically, in this country. So we went for NASCAR. Now, check this out.
I'm no Jeff Gordon, but this is a lot of fun. Really vivid, realistic graphics. And the neat thing is you can drive these great old original cars from the early days of NASCAR, the Legends, and it is so much fun. Here we are at the Talladega course. Now, by the way, to play this, there's no way you're going to do a racing game with anything but a steering wheel, right? You gotta have it. And we picked this one for a couple of reasons. First of all, you gotta love the cool Ferrari logo. This is the Guillemot force feedback racing wheel. It's about $130. You get what you pay for, folks. It's solid. It's made of metal. I put my little kids on this thing. They could not break it after a week of trying. It's got all the buttons you'd want. You don't know, a lot of racing wheels you give up the buttons, but this has buttons back here. It's got the point of view hat. It's got buttons here. It's got a shift. And, of course, if I go down below, we've got the accelerator and the brake pedals. These are also very solid, well made. This is a wheel you're not going to break, and it's force feedback, so you get some great bumps and grinds as you're driving down.
A caveat, though, you better really like driving games, because you have to attach this thing inside your desk. It's kind of big and unwieldy, but it's great.
Let's show the game of the century.
Of course.
At least of last century. Quake 3 Arena. You gotta have that.
Oh, come on. Of course you do. Now look at this. It's a classic. It's a beautiful bloodfest, is Quake 3. And I'll tell you, I remember when Quake was one of the ugliest games you have ever seen in your life. Look at it now.
That's just incredible. 32-bit colored. The DDR, the GeForce is doing such a great job rendering this. Again, at very, very high resolutions. You don't lose any frame rate. For those of you who are the Voodoo fanatics who say you can only play Quake with a Voodoo card in glide mode or OpenGL, I'm sorry. This looks really, really good.
On that GeForce.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Now, when you play Quake, nobody plays Quake with a joystick or a driving wheel or...
No.
You got to play it with a keyboard.
You have to be able to strafe, don't you?
Yeah.
Of course you do. Now, this is Unicomp's on-the-stick keyboard. Now, Leo, we wanted to go with wireless, yes?
Yeah, I was really looking for a wireless keyboard because we have this great big monitor. I want to sit back here and look at the monitor. But now, I understand Unicomp is actually doing a wireless version of this. When they do, I will buy it. But this one, look how long the cord is.
It's got a good stretch on it.
We're in good shape here.
So you can still sit far away from your huge, huge monitor sitting in your living room.
Now, why Unicomp? Well, they were one of the last companies. They bought the old technology from Lexmark, the spring. What do they call them? I forgot the name of the springs. But
now that I'm trying to think of it.
They give you a nice switch feel. And I'll tell you what, when you're involved in a frag fest, it's important that you get that tactile feedback from your keyboard. This is also nice if you're lying back. You wouldn't want to use this mouse for controlling a game, but it's great if you're sitting back and you want to surf. The mouse is actually built into the keyboard. The wireless version of this, I think, will be awesome. But we've had a lot of trouble with wireless keyboards and mice, so I'm not yet recommending it.
Okay.
We stuck with the old mouse, though. We didn't upgrade the mouse. We looked at all those mice. In fact, we looked at the optical mouse, the new one from Microsoft, and the keys are just too mushy. You don't get that good feedback, so we're sticking with our Logitech Mouseman Plus, $17.
Yep.
But you know what? It feels great. It fits the hand great. And very important, if you're going to play Unreal Tournament or you're going to play Quake 3, you got to have the scroll wheel. It's not for browsing, folks. It's for changing weapons.
All right.
Very, very important.
It is. And make sure you have good click on the keyboard. See how happy you
See, you played Diablo for this on a year, and it didn't wear out the clicker.
So,
that's a good sign. I mean, Diablo is a game where you go like this.
Especially if you're an archer, like I am, you play the rogue. Shoot, shoot, shoot. So here are all the items for our ultimate gaming machine. Today's total?
400. Oh, let's hear it. There we go.
$479.
That's not much.
That's not too bad. Well, of course, now...
Let's add it all up, shall we?
Let's talk about all 3 days. We started, of course, with the same case that we've had.
The Adtronics case. We've got a Pentium 3B in there with an Intel Mobo. We got 128 megs of RD RAM. We've got as I mentioned, Creative Labs Annihilator Pro GeForce 256 DDR video card. We've got a Creative Labs Platinum sound card with that nice front piece. We've got our same old smart and friendly Rocket 8X. We're going to upgrade that to the 12X soon. Ultraplex Plex Store 32X CD-ROM. Both of these are SCSI. A SCSI DVD drive from Toshiba.
Hardware decoded.
With the that's right. With the Real Magic Hollywood Plus card.
Real Hollywood.
I can't remember the name.
Hollywood
You know which
Real,
one we're talking about.
Plus decoder.
We've got the Sony plasma screen that is just. I love this. Is so good. We've got the Klipsch speakers. These sound marvelous. And of course, all the controllers and the software we just showed you. All of that, adding it up together, gives us a grand total. You do the honors.
$14,533.
And 98 cents.
99 cents.
We got a good deal on the
cable.
But, by the way, you take out the $10,000 on that monitor. That's really only about $4,800 for the system.
That's not $5,000 computer.
If you're ready to build your own ultimate gaming machine, check out our website at thescreensavers.com for an article I wrote about what we're calling UGM Mach 2. We could call it the penultimate. We might be doing one next time.
Oh, there you go. Or ultimate duh. As promised, here's Sumidas with a look at a device from Microvision that displays your computer's image directly on your retina on today's A Fresh Gear.
If you think you're seeing things, you're right. Full-color moving images are actually being painted onto the retina of a human eye. Scientists at Seattle-based Microvision have come up with virtual retinal display, a laser technology that could change the way that we look at electronic information.
The most important aspect of VRD technology is that it will provide vision-like image quality. Finally, we'll have a display which is matched to the capabilities of the human visual system.
We're dealing with a technology that's very cool. With VRD, what we used to think of as science fiction is today a reality.
To create a virtual retinal display, or VRD, a low-power laser beam projects thousands of color image pixels onto the retina of the viewer's eye. The source image can come from any electronic device. In this case, it's a laptop computer. The image feeds into a system unit, which contains drive electronics and laser lights. It then travels through a fiber optic cable into a display unit.
The display unit takes the focused laser beam and scans it horizontally and vertically directly onto the user's retina.
According to scientists at Microvision, folks who blink at the idea of shining lasers into their eyes have nothing to worry about.
The systems we're developing are no more dangerous than looking at your computer monitor. The amount of light into the eye is roughly the same amount of light.
Until now, virtual retinal display has been used primarily for military applications. While helmet-mounted displays have allowed fighter pilots to track and identify targets, the actual unit is somewhat bulky. The eye-opening news for consumers is that the hardware required to generate VRD is shrinking.
Not only are we miniaturizing the optical and scanning components of the VRD, but we're working very hard on the light sources.
This suitcase-sized box is housing the VRD's laser lights, but tiny laser diodes like this one will soon replace larger lights, and handheld scanning display units are already being produced in microscopic size. Miniaturization is no small deal. It means that VRD technology will be moving into the consumer market, with user-friendly items like lightweight head-mounted displays, eyeglasses, and cell phones.
This prototype shows that we would build a retinal display into a flap that opens up. As I look now down into the cell phone, I'm seeing a 21-inch monitor that's projecting exactly the same image that I would see on my desktop or laptop.
The image displayed in your eye can be anything from text to your favorite cartoon. It's up to you. Because the VRD is generated with laser light and without intervening screens, the image quality surpasses that of conventional displays.
VRD is the one display technology which will provide all of the brightness and resolution and color gamut that the human visual system can use. We could have, instead of just a red, green, blue, 3 primary color system, we could have a 6 primary system.
If you're a surgeon, images that you are trying to look at within the full color gamut are enormously important to you. The difference between a light red and a very bright red could mean the difference between a healthy tissue and perhaps a cancerous tissue.
While virtual retinal display can make a critical difference in medical procedures, it can also be used just for fun, like to enhance 3D computer gameplay. So what's the future vision for VRD technology?
The virtual retinal display is going to provide millions of consumers the opportunity to have access to electronic information in a portable fashion that they've never had before.
The ultimate idea is that VRD will deliver information to us when and where we want it.
According to my seeing eye, you can catch a new fresh gear every Friday afternoon, 1:30, 12:30 Central, right here. Where? On ZDTV.
Here's an email from Jeffrey. He says, is there any way I can hide my IP address while I'm using IE, AOL, IM, or IRC? Maybe. Let's find out.
PDQ.
We'll show you when the screensavers continue. We're going got an email from Jeffrey. He asks, "Is there any way I can hide my IP?" That's not how you spell Jeffrey, is it? Jeffrey? My IP address. Well, is it just me? Or
it's a way to spell Jeffrey. Some people don't think Geoff. Joffrey is Jeffrey either.
He just wants to surf anonymously.
Yes. And, of course, if you're using anonymizer, it can hide some things, but you're still...
Not really.
Not really. It's not the same thing.
So we talked about this before. In fact, remember we got on the air and we said, if somebody would just come up with this, it would be $1 million idea. Well, somebody's come up with it. What we were talking about was, if you wanted to, let's say, here's my situation. I'm on a cable modem, which means I'm on a LAN with my neighbors. They can use software called Packet Sniffer software to monitor my packets and see everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. So unless my data is completely encrypted, which most data is not, including email, internet relay, chat, and web surfing, they can see everything I'm doing.
Right.
So what we were saying is, what somebody should do is make a way that you would have encrypted traffic to a server, and then from the server they would do the surfing for you, so it would hide what you're doing.
Well, guess what?
That's what they're doing.
They did. We were going to actually quit and go form a company and do this.
Good thing we didn't.
We're still here because Zero Knowledge did it for us.
The program's called Freedom.
Freedom.
Now, we were going to do a demo, and I have to tell you this, we have not been able to get it to work on any machine ever.
No.
In fact, right now, we can't even get on their servers. I tried to buy it. I tried to download. They have a free demo. We cannot get it to work. David Prager tried to get it to work. He couldn't get it to work. So while I talked today to the chief technical officer, and I was very impressed by the underlying technology, I have yet to see it at work.
Patrick Norton actually got it to work and wrote a review for them and said it was the next best thing to not surfing at all, in his opinion.
Now, here's what it does. This is actually kind of neat. They have a pipe that's kind of like VPN, where it's an encrypted pipe that your traffic goes in, and then they use additional layers of encryption, up to 3, in something they call telescoping. Your traffic will go over the pipe to a server, one of 50 that they've kind of friendly servers that they've got all over the country. Usually those are people who are freedom advocates who believe in privacy. You go through that server and one of the shells gets stripped off, but you have 3. Go through another server, gets stripped off again. Go through another server, gets stripped off again. By the time your traffic gets on the internet, there is no way anybody, including Zero Knowledge, can tell who you are. You get pseudonyms so that you can have a persistent identity, but it's a pseudonym. It's not your real identity.
That's one of theirs, and you can pick any number of pseudonyms that you want.
Does not work with AOL Instant Messenger.
Okay.
Will work with HTTP. Will work with IRC. And this is very important because when you're using IRC, you're very vulnerable because your IP address is public.
That's really
very
wild.
vulnerable, yeah. It will work with email and Telnet, so that means you could do some mudding. Doesn't work with games. Does not work with FTP.
And only works on 95 and 98 Windows.
That's right. They don't yet have a version for any other operating system, although there's no reason why they couldn't, and I'm sure if this does well for them, they will. Costs about $50 a year for up to 5 what they call NIMs, pseudonyms, okay?
Now, actually, some of the things you have to agree to, by the way, it's a Canadian company, you have to agree to some Canadian legalities, which include that you will not send this encryption information to the following countries, and they have a list of countries that you cannot be from to use this product, because using the encryption on that level is illegal.
They have the same laws that we do have in the States about exporting high security encryption technology. It's really a neat idea. We like the idea. The theory is good. It should work, and it's something that is much needed. And it's not merely for anonymous surfing, but really to be able to surf safely and to send email safely. They also have a spam filter that keeps email from coming in, spam coming in. But we have yet to get it working. So what I would say is go download Freedom, see if you can get it work on your system. If it works for you, then I'd say go do it. I'm very impressed by the technology.
Caveat, it may slow down your surfing just a little bit, especially over a dial-up, but it will be mostly unnoticeable over a DSL or cable channel.
And you can't optimize for performance versus security, so I just want to protect myself in my neighborhood. I'd optimize for performance. It would protect myself on the LAN, but I wouldn't be as anonymous out in the real world. That's fine with me.
Okay.
So that would be one way to do it.
So there you go. If you can get it to work, have at it. Fully for you. Now, because this is a show for the people, by the people, we want you to record and send us a video email. Instructions, your script, you know, the whole shebang. Waiting for it at screensavers.com. Just that interact button is where it all is. Now, here's Mark to take it away.
This is Mark from Collin, Texas. Kate and Leo will be right back when the Screensavers continues here on ZDTV. Amaze yourself.
Yeah, he's an Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Screensavers. Take a peek up there on your screen for the preliminary results of today's poll. So so far, it's pretty much L2 cash to L2 cash between the Pentium 3 and the Athlon with the G4. Sneaking up behind. You've got 24 hours to vote at thescreensavers.com.
Interesting. That's very close. Not surprising. Is that what I would have predicted?
Well, that's pretty much, we were in the same spot.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
This is the part of the show we like to answer some of the email we get. Paul writes, I was just wondering what kind of modem will you have in the UGM? We didn't put a modem in the UGM because if you really want ultimate gaming performance, you're going to be using a DSL or cable modem.
Right, you need a NIC.
You need a NIC. So we put the 3Com in there.
Yeah, like a 3C509B or
Etherlink 3XL, something like that.
Standard.
You know, a good 3Com card. If I were going to put a modem on there, I'd probably get it for an internal modem, the one hardware internal modem I know of, which is the Action Tech. If I'm going to put an external modem in there, I like the US Robotics 3Com. External Voice Fax Pro or something like that. It's a USB modem. Good modem.
Awesome. Peach wrote us an email. This is so odd. Peach says, this is very strange, but I have to know. I have USB somewhere, but I don't know where. So on the specs for Peach's motherboard, it shows up in the BIOS as enabled, but there's no actual port on the back of the machine.
It's not at all uncommon on motherboards that you have to buy the header for devices like infrared and USB separately. So just go to your motherboard manufacturer or the person who sold it to you and say, where's the header?
Yeah, the little box with the spiky peg-like things, that's what that is. Your technician was right.
We want to thank Tim. He's the Tim Martin, CTO of Giage, for chatting with us and stopping by the Screensavers.
Nice
Look at that hat. Yeah.
All right.
That's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Kate Patello. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Screensavers.
Remember, my friends, believe in technology, but when it comes down to it, it's the game that counts. We'll see you later.
All right. 3 stair jumps today.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that was fun.
She took a fall.